Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamadirayat Nashprayesha Vatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashriki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshanavadi Vashata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gopitase Namo Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class as part of our Bhagavad Life program. We are reading from 4th canto, chapter number 31. Nārada Muni instructs Pracetās. And the background of this chapter is as follows. We see that will be the translation of first 2-3 verses. Chapter 31, text number 1. The great saint Maitreya continued. After that, the Pracetās lived at home for thousands of years, developed perfect knowledge and spiritual consciousness. At last, they remembered the blessings of the Lord and left home, putting their wife in charge of a perfect son, Daksha. So, like this, they decided to take to the path of renunciation. So, in the purport, Prabhupada was highlighting in the first purport the importance of brahmacharya training to understand God consciousness and the importance of giving up comfortable family life. So renunciation at the beginning, renunciation in the end is needed to prepare our consciousness for the next life. So that was a point of focus over there, like this. So they went to perform tapasya, just like they were fortunate enough to receive the blessings and association of Lord Shiva. Similarly, they were blessed. They were this time blessed. They were blessed again by the association of Nārada Muni. So Prabhupada elsewhere writes, those who are sincere in their devotional life, Krishna facilitates them. Tesham nitya bhaktanam. What is that? Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tamah, or the verse prior to that. That is what has been spoken about it. Okay. And then they spoke to Nārada Muni. They said, what was the inquiry? That was in text number 7. All the Pracetās began to address the great sage Nārada. O great sage, O Brahmana, we hope you met with no disturbances while coming here. By the traveling of the sun, people are relieved from the fear of the darkness of night, a fear brought about by thieves and rogues. Similarly, your traveling is like the suns for you drive away all kinds of fear. So text number. Oh, I had a text number 5. That's what I'm thinking. Why I like this? I want to read the previous. Text number 7. Dear Master, kindly enlighten us in transcendental knowledge, which may act as a torchlight. So they asked for the transcendental knowledge. Text number 9, Nadmini began to speak that transcendental knowledge. So we'll quickly recap. We read up to verse number 5 or 15. So we'll quickly recap the headings of each of this verse. So instruction number 1, text number 9, Nadmani speaks about when is life truly successful? And the 5 perfections he speaks in the verse. Birth becomes successful, activities becomes perfect, lifespan becomes meaningful, mind becomes purified, words become sanctified when all of it are used in the service of the Lord. Then instruction number 2, text number 10. There are 3 births of a civilized human being: Shokra, Savitra, and Yagnikaha, purification. Then instruction number 3, text number 11. Without bhakti, all assets are useless. Austerity without devotion is a spiritual exercise without purpose. Scholarship without devotion, intellectual entertainment. Keen senses without devotion, animalistic existence. And all abilities must be connected to Krishna to have value. Instruction number 4, text number 12. All paths to be successful require a touch of bhakti. So there Prabhupada was highlighting, do not be impressed by austerities alone, do not be impressed by scholarship alone, do not be impressed by renunciation alone. Ask, is this connected to Krishna? Instruction number 5, verse number 13. Krishna is the source and goal of everything, whatever process, whatever path we follow. And then text number 14, the very famous shloka, Yatha Taromo Nischalena Tarpyanti Skanda Bhujopashakaha, where Narmini gives an analogy to explain how Krishna is the root, and by serving Krishna, everyone is nourished, everyone is taken care. We don't have to serve devtas separately. And then instruction number 7, which is text number 15. Everything comes from Krishna and everything returns back to him. This is what we are supposed to read, I believe. Text number 15. So let's start from text number 15. So this was a quick recap. यथैव सूर्यात् प्रभवन्ति वारः पुनश्च तस्मिन् प्रविशन्ति काले भूतानि भूमौ स्थिरजङ्गमानि तथा हरावेव गुणा प्रवाहा यथैव सूर्यात् प्रभवन्ति वारः पुनश्च तस्मिन् प्रविशन्ति काले भूतानि भूमौ स्थिरजङ्गमानि तथा हरावेव गुणा प्रवाहा. So 2 things are mentioned, how Krishna is the source of everything and everything goes back to Krishna. Example of rainwater. The summer season, the ocean water gets evaporated, turns into monsoon cloud, and then it falls as a rainwater, goes onto the ground. Again, from the ground, it goes back to the ocean. Similarly, from the earth, through the crops, through the food, the new bodies are created. Semen is created, that's an outcome of that. And the new body is created, and after that, the same body goes back to the earth. It comes from earth, goes back to earth. That's what his translation says. Please read the translation. Text number 15.
During the rainy season, water is generated from the sun. And in due course of time, during the summer season, the very same water is again absorbed by the sun. Similarly, all living entities, moving and inert, are generated from the earth. And again, after some time, they all return to the earth as dust. Similarly, everything emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in due course of time, everything enters into him again.
So Prabhupada in the purport quoting 2 verses from Brahma Samhita, the essence of it is as follows. Everything that we see is Krishna's energy. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we were talking about 7.4, 7.5, how Krishna is the source of everything. So, how is the vision of a devotee? Everything that exists is Krishna's energy. If everything that exists is Krishna's energy, which means nothing is independent of Krishna. That has to be a obvious conclusion of that. Creation and dissolution are Krishna's breathing. That's fifth chapter, 48th verse of Brahma Samhita. Yaskeka nishvasita kalamatavalambhya जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथः विष्णु महासह्य यस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So this is the point. Creation and dissolution are Krishna's breathing. So understanding this fact, what has been described in text number 14 and 15, gives us the right perspective of life. That's the idea here. Okay, text number 16. Etat padam tad jagatmanah param.
Etat padam tad jagatmanah param.
Sakrat vibhatam savitur yatha pravaha.
Vibhatam savitur yatha pravaha.
Yatha savoja grati shupta shaktayo.
Yatha savoja grati shupta shaktayo.
Dravya kriya jnana bidha brahmataya. So here Nārada Muni extends the conversation. He says, Achintya bhed abhed tattva. Everything is one, yet simultaneously different from the Lord. And he is giving an analogy. Etat padam tat jagat atmana param sakra vibhatam savitur. Savitur refers to the sun. Yatha prabha. So he's saying just like the sun and sunshine. In one way, they're not different, but yet they're different. So this is how I was giving an example of achintya bhed abhed tattva. So which means we are one with the Lord qualitatively, as Prabhupada would explain. However, quantitatively, we are different. So this is the verse which debunks Mayavad theory. Translation, text number 16, please.
Just as the sunshine is non-different from the sun, the cosmic manifestation is also non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality is therefore all pervasive within this material creation. When the senses are active, they appear to be part and parcel of the body, but when the body is asleep, their activities are unmanifest. Similarly, the whole cosmic creation appears different and yet non-different from the Supreme Person.
So Prabhupada is raising a question in the purport. Prabhupada is saying, well, some people say, Are, how Krishna could be the source of everything? He lives in one corner of the whole creation called as Golokadam. So how can you give that, how can you say the whole creation belongs to him? He lives in Golokadam, not here in Hinjawadi phase 3 Sangria. So how can we say this all belongs to the Lord? And then Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy. He quotes an example of royalty, Buckingham Palace. He says, let's say the king is living in his palace. He owns the palace, but still he has his own room. Because he sleeps in his room, he works in his office, yet he may have another 30, 40 rooms in the palace. Does the palace belong to him or not? Prabhupada is giving that example. Might be he might have just visited London. He is quoting the Buckingham Palace example. And that's the beauty of Prabhupada's, writing. He'll take the common scenario and make it relevant. So that's how everything belongs to the Lord. Don't say Lord is localized at one place. That's text number 16. So yeah, that's about it. Text number 17. So text number 16, instruction was simultaneously one and different. Achintya abhed abhed tattva. Text number 17 now. Yatha nabhasi apratama prakashaha vandi bhupana bhavanti anukrama evam pare brahmani shaktayastu rajastama sattvamiti pravaha. So now he is answering another question. You'll see that in Mother Kunti's prayer, everyone's prayer, Dhruv Maharaj, everyone will say like this. So now another question could be, Tika, he's not localized, everything belongs to him. But how can you say he's not affected by the modes of material nature when every one of us is affected by modes of material nature? The Nārada Muni is saying, no, he's beyond the modes of material nature. And then Prabhupada gives beautiful examples to explain. Let's read the translation.
My dear kings, sometimes in the sky there are clouds, sometimes there is darkness, and sometimes there is illusion. The appearance, emulation. The appearance of all this takes place consecutively. Similarly, in the Supreme Absolute, the modes of passion, darkness, and goodness appear as consecutive energies. Sometimes they appear and sometimes they disappear.
So yes, the sky still remains as it is. Prabhupada is giving some beautiful analogies. It's a famous analogy, goat's nipple analogy. Understanding Prakriti or nature to be the cause of everything is like understanding the nipples on the neck of a goat to be the cause of milk. Now, goat doesn't give milk through the nipples. So to say that that is a cause is like that has been mentioned. Understanding Prakriti or nature to be the cause of everything, is like understanding. So Prabhupada explains goats have nipple-like protrusions on their necks that produce no milk. A perfect example is something appearing to be a cause but actually being useless. So it's there, but it doesn't produce milk. So Prakriti is there to think Prakriti controls everything. That is not the correct understanding. And then Prabhupada is quoting Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Swete Sa Chara Charam, like that. Prabhupada gives another example of a potter. So there is a potter who is making the pots, there is a earth, and there is a potter's instrument. So who is making the pots? If there is a question to be asked. There is a earth from where the raw material have taken. There is a container in which the pot is created, and there is a potter. So who has created the pot? मटका किसने बनाया है? That instrument या भूमि या जिसकी भूमिका है? The potter. These are all provided, but who created? Who brought the earth and that instrument together? The potter. That's Prabhupada gives another analogy like that. So these examples are important to remember. Huh? If somebody challenges, give an example, they'll be like, okay, got it. Text number 18. So this talks about now, after clarifying, so these few previous verses were clarifying very important doubts. Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva. Lord is not affected by Prakriti. Lord is the source of it. After clarifying all those major philosophical doubts, now text number 18. 18. Wait a second. Text number, 18. Please read the translation, text number 18.
Because the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, He is the supersoul of all individual living entity, and He exists as both the remote and immediate cause. Since He is the aloof from the material emanation, He is free from their incarnation, and His Lord is of metal nature. You should therefore engage in His devotional service, thinking yourself quantitatively one with Him.
All right. So here is concluding this discussion from the last few verses. So Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Do not consider him to be part of the creation or of the creation. He doesn't belong to it. After this, now the subject matter would change. So Krishna's supremacy has been established. Lord's supremacy has been established. Now, transcendental knowledge was a question asked by Pracetās. So what Nārada Muni would say now? Just like Lord Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhu matha sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajanti mam. What is that? Buddha samanvitaha. So, first line Krishna says, I am the Supreme Personality Godhead. Third line, he says, those who understand I am the Supreme Personality Godhead, what do they do? Perform bhakti. Now, after Nārada Muni establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead, what would Nārada Muni say next? Perform devotional service. And the goal of devotional service is Samshiddhi Haritoshna, to please Krishna. So now obvious thing next he's going to speak is what pleases Krishna. So this is, you can guess, make good guesses. Text number 9, what pleases Krishna? Dvaya sarvabhuteshu
Dvaya sarvabhuteshu
santushtya yena kenava
santushtya yena kenava
sarvindriyo pashantaya cha
sarvendriyo pashantaya cha
tushyati ashu janardana.
tushyati ashu janardana.
By showing mercy to all living entities. That is point number one. Santushta yena kenava. Be content. Yena kena, by whatever means, be content. Which means don't complain. Sarvendriyo pashantaya cha. Sarva indriya, samast indriyo pe. Upashantaya cha. Controlling your mind and senses. Because mind is also the sixth sense. Tushyati, being satisfied. Tushti. Ashu, very soon, Janadanaha, the Lord of all living entities. Please read the translation. Four things have been mentioned.
By showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other, and restricting the senses from sense enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardana.
So, beautiful puppet. Prabhupada doesn't speak about everything, but he speaks about two things. Daya sarva bhuteshu. Mercy to all living entities. Prabhupada says the best way to show mercy is to spread Krishna consciousness. Then question can be raised that, okay, we can share Krishna consciousness with humans. What about other species? So Prabhupada writes, everyone can benefit spiritually by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna is sounded, even the trees, animals, and insects benefit. Thus, when one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly, he actually shows mercy to all living entities. That's the first focus. Second focus Prabhupada have in the purport is about being content, santosha. For that we can read Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, verse number 16, with tapo manas uchyate. The austerity of mind has been described. Beautiful purport writes. So how to get satisfaction, how to be content, Prabhupada writes, to spread the Krishna consciousness movement throughout the world. The devotees should be satisfied in all conditions. So first thing is to give mercy. How to give mercy? To spread Krishna consciousness. And while you're trying to spread Krishna consciousness, devotees must be content in all situations. Prabhupada then quotes Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto 17th chapter verse number 28, famous shloka, Narayanaha parasarveshu na kutashana bibhyati swarga pavarga narkeshu apitulyartha darshinaha. Then third thing Prabhupada says in the purport is about sense control. Sarvendriyo upashantaya cha. So Prabhupada says he's creating a sequence. So if you do preaching, that is the greatest act of compassion. While doing preaching, there will be certain inconveniences. Be content, tolerate that. And how to control mind and senses? When you engage yourself in devotional service, they're automatically controlled. So if somebody asks how to control mind and senses, tell them go out of the door and preach. That is a formula. And you see, that's what Prabhupada did with the hippies, would send them out for 8 hours of Harinam. Go out and do Harinam. It's not that they've understood what's the purpose of Harinam, what's going to happen. And that's the beauty of Acharya. And that's this verse is talking about. The senses are automatically controlled when one's mind is engaged in the service of the Lord. So by engaging in preaching mission, we can eventually control our mind and senses. And in previous week, prior to some time ago, I had traveled out for a few days. Prior to that, we were discussing about when Krishna says, "Man mana bhavamat bhakta madhyaji mam namaskaro." Engage your mind. Think about me. What did I say? How to think about Krishna? Yes, dovetail the propensity, and the propensity is we're always planning. We're always planning for how can I enjoy. Use that propensity, use it in the service of the Lord. Start planning for Lord's service. Mind will automatically start thinking about the Lord. The same thing is mentioned here again. So how do you want to control your mind and senses? Engage in the service of the Lord. So put it other way around. Somebody is too agitated. Somebody is going disturbed. Somebody is struggling in his devotional life. What is the analysis of it? That person is not sufficiently engaged. So for those of you who are mentors, so you're playing the role of mentors, so don't dilly-dally. What is the root problem? Why his mind is disturbed and all that? Because it's not sufficiently engaged. Now, maybe sufficiently engaged. You may say, Prabhuji, मैं उसको देखता हूँ, बहुत सेवा करता है. Then what is the problem? Sufficiently engaged, but sufficiently distracted. Engagement is not physically. Engagement means engaged with the mind. You're doing things, you're absorbed in doing things. But the problem is if your mind is not engaged, you're distracted. I had given an example. I'll give you an example of somebody who is sufficiently engaged and sufficiently distracted. So I was recently speaking to some forum about it. There was this 50th anniversary of ISKCON. So, all over the ISKCON, we were having great celebrations. So Calcutta was having also a great celebration. And they had attempted to have a Guinness Book of World Record by bringing devotees from 108 nationalities, out of which 102 came from Mayapur only. These nationalities people flew from outside because Mayapur already has so many devotees all over the world. So therefore they thought, they never informed anyone. They projected as if 108 nationality people have flew to Calcutta for this event, but 102 came from Mayapur only. That's not the main point. So it was a any event management is a big event. There's a Guinness Book of World Record event going on. Then there is a big yoga event is going on. And ये कौन है हमारे famous musician from Bombay, Bollywood, who would sing many devotional songs also. Anup Jalota. His Kirtan slot was there in the evening in a pavilion. Humongous program. And imagine, 108 devotees representing those countries. They're going to come to Calcutta. You have to accommodate them. It's an event spread across 3 days. You can imagine 3 days means no sleep for 3 days. And so many devotees are coming, and plus you don't have a space to accommodate. Calcutta temple is so small. You have to rent out place and whatnot. So much crisis there. So our team had gone. So I was in, as usual, the VIP care team. That service I have been doing it for a while. So when this thing happens, I used to be called for that. So we had sent our PDC team. So along with me, above me was Ramanand Prabhu. So I was supposed to take care of one aspect, and Ramanand Prabhu was supposed to take overall care of everything. It's 11 o'clock in the night, we are having meeting. So which means, अभी ये सेवा है ना, अभी meeting का कोई time नहीं होता. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning, anytime. 11 o'clock we are having a meeting, क्या चल रहा है, सारे guests आ गए हैं, उनकी रहने की सुविधा है या नहीं है करके. So the devotee was on the ground who was really engaged. Ramanand Prabhu called him up, and he didn't have Ramanand Prabhu's number. So he called him up, he said, Hare Krishna, so कैसा चल रहा है सब कुछ? मैं कहते हैं, he called up just to see how things are happening, and he called up as if he's visiting Calcutta. He said, I'm coming to Calcutta, I'm a brahmachari from Pune, so just wanted to see what's going on. उस भक्त को पता नहीं क्या हुआ, उसने जो प्रभु को झाड़ा. तुम रात को 11 बजे मुझे फोन करते हो, तुम आ रहे हो तो बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हो, आओ जहाँ पे जाना है रह लो. Just apart from international dignitaries, he was also, in our absence till the time, he was also looking for the brahmacharis who are coming for the accommodation, senior brahmacharis. और इसने प्रभु को खूब झाड़ा. प्रभु ने फोन रखा स्पीकर पे, वो चीख रहा है. सो उसकी आवाज से लग रहा था वो आग लगी हुई है उसके जीवन में. He's not able to manage. And then Prabhu said, okay, Prabhu, all right. This is Ramanand Das from ISKCON Pune, your authority for this service. And today evening, I relieve you from this service. You're no more in this department. And he disconnected the phone. Immediately मुझे फोन आया, प्रभु जी क्या हो गया? मैंने कहा तू वैसे चीखेगा तो तुझे कौन सेवा देगा? मुझे क्या पता था? मैंने कहा see, it is not about तुझे पता नहीं पता था. If you are in a service where you have to deal with people, you have to, वाणी की लज्जा एक मर्यादा होती है. अगर तुझे फोन नहीं उठाना था तो फोन नहीं उठाता. Phone इसलिए नहीं उठा सकता था because his service was to be 24 available, 24 hours. Some guest is coming 1 o'clock in the night, somebody is coming 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a very hectic service. But after receiving the class, how can you be so harsh? How can you, speak loudly like this? You're supposed to speak politely. So we were having discussions. I spoke to Ramanand Prabhu. I said, Prabhuji, galti hogi hogi. Then he said, well, galti hogi hogi? He's totally distracted. And then I began to wonder, why did he say he's totally distracted? What was his service about? His service was to serve and please. If that's an objective, then how he spoke was entirely against the objective. He was totally distracted. So, so if you're doing a service, if your mind is not engaged into it, then there's no point. You may be externally sufficiently engaged, but you can be totally distracted. And the evidence of that is, उस व्यक्ति के आजू बाजू से चिंगारी निकलेगी, आप उसके बाजू से भी गए ना तो लगेगा बॉडी टेम्परेचर बढ़ गया. It's like that happens. One of the things. So that's the point here. So favorable attitude is text number 19. So what we're talking about here. So three things: preach Krishna consciousness, that is the highest mercy. Chant loudly, even animals and plants will benefit. Remain satisfied in all circumstances. Sense control flows naturally. Sense control means mind. Mind is a sixth sense, flows naturally. Those who are engaged, properly engaged in right way. Now let's go to instruction number 11. Text number 20. Translation, please. Very beautiful verse. Very beautiful verse. Why I'm giving you this kind of a storyline so you understand how the flow of discussion. So first, Lord is the greatest. So Lord is the greatest. What to do? As Krishna says himself, engage in devotion service. Engage in such a way it is favorable to me. So what is a favorable attitude? Be kind and compassionate. Be sense control. Engage in devotion service. This is how you become favorable. Now, one who is favorable to the Lord becomes dependent on him. I just want you to pause and think about it. Don't just read it as a philosophy. Let's say you're a team leader. And if there is somebody, you have a team of 10 people under you. And somebody within that team may not be. I've done this analysis. Remember, with our leadership forum, I did that. The can be four kind of team members. One is accountable. One is highly skilled. One is highly skilled but not accountable. One is highly accountable but not skilled. One is none of it. And we need to get the fourth category, who is skilled and who is accountable. So those who are accountable, they need to be empowered to get training, to become skilled. And those who are highly skilled, making them accountable is the greatest challenge because they always want credit. You remember we had that whole discussion about four kinds of people in the team? Okay, let's keep it aside. Let's come here. Be practical about it, how it functions. So imagine you have 10 people in your team and you've asked them to do certain tasks. They're doing things, but they have their own agenda. I'll give you one example without quoting. No, I don't want to give that example. Somebody hears fallen and that devotee hears, he'll feel sad about it. So anyways, so imagine you have given a service to that person, but it's not being done in a favorable mood. That's the favorable mood that Krishna said here. Text number 19, so like this. If it is not been done favorable mood, if there is a lack of accountability, etc., will you become dependent on that person? Will you trust that person? In your situation, will you trust that person? Never. Forget about team. You will not even trust your own child if he is not accountable and if he is not giving a favorable disposition. So here Nārada says, who become favorable towards the Lord, who serves in this way. Text number 20 Nārada says, Lord becomes dependent on them, which means Lord empowers them with more and more service opportunity. Text number 20 now. Please read. Text number 20 translation, please.
Being completely cleansed of all material desires, the devotees are freed from all mental contamination. Thus, they can always think of the Lord constantly and address Him very willingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing Himself to be controlled by His devotees, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never becomes invisible.
So this is about a great secret about the relationship between the Lord and His devotees. Then somebody may ask a question, but how do you say favorable? Gopis used to, ask Kana, okay, हम तुम्हें मक्खन देंगे जब तुम नाच के दिखाओगे. And the Lord will be disturbed by it. He has to dance on their wrong melody. Gopis को ताल भी नहीं आती थी. They were not even clapping properly, but Krishna has to dance. Why? If he doesn't dance, Gopis will not give makhan to him. So this is not favorable. Is this favorable? But this is not favorable. So many situations happen like this. Krishna asks Yudhishthira, speak a lie. Yudhishthira, नहीं, मैं झूठ नहीं बोलता. अभी तो होता मैंने झूठ नहीं बोलता मतलब क्या है? भगवान ने कहा है. And ये वही भगवान है जिसको राजसूय यज्ञ में यज्ञ के उपरांत in the assembly कहते हैं in the press, Bhishma Pitahama had declared Krishna to be the Supreme Personality. Yudhishthira knows of it. So we'll see sometimes this kind of responses. So Prabhupada gives a beautiful example to understand. He gives an example of a king. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, sometimes the king would employ a joker, to create some laughter in the assembly. And as a joker, sometimes he might speak something about the king which may seem insultingly, but the objective was to create a humor. So the king does not take it seriously because ultimately it was done in a favorable mood. Why? Because the objective was to please the king. And the king only told him, do this. Don't take the example out of context now. Huh? प्रभु जी मैं आपकी सेवा के लिए कर रहा था आपको समझ नहीं आया दिस इज जस्ट एन एग्जांपल डोंट टेक इट आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट तो तुम लोग की आंखें घूमने लगी अच्छा मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ फिर बोल सकता हूँ इट वाज मेंट फॉर यू नो नॉट लाइक दैट आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन हाउ the relationship works between the Lord and devotees. So there are other ways. For example, Bhishma Pitama shooting arrows. How is it favorable for the Lord? Lord had engaged him in the service of fighting. So we may not understand the dynamics. Understanding the dynamics is the example of king and the joker. That's an analogy given to explain that. But the idea is when we act favorably, then the Lord becomes dependent, which means we become the part of the inner circle where the Lord will trust us. Which means in our relationship also we'll trust those devotees. That's how it naturally happens like that. Okay. So text number 20. Pure devotees control Krishna through love. The Lord never leaves a sincere devotee. Krishna enjoys being controlled by devotees' love. The relationship is eternal. So these are some of the points. Text number 21. Okay, so after talking about how to please the Lord, and the Lord becomes favorable to those who please the Lord. Now, Nārada talks about what Krishna accepts and what Krishna does not accept. So there is something for our intelligence to discriminate and understand what Krishna will be happy with, what Krishna will not be happy with. So text number 21, what Krishna accepts and rejects. Instruction number 12. Please read the translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very dear to those devotees who have no material possessions but are fully happy in possessing the devotional service of the Lord. Indeed, the Lord relishes the devotional activities of such devotees. Those who are puffed up with the material education, wealth,
Janma,
Jan,
Aishwarya, Shruta, Shivi. Those are the four things only. But you can read out.
are very proud of possessing material things and they often deride the devotees. If we such a people offer the Lord worship, the Lord never accept them.
So therefore, disqualifies Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shivi, Edaman, Adhapaman. So here the four disqualifiers are pride. Write down. I want everyone to reflect on it, how it manifests in one's behavior, and primarily in one's bhasha. I've been recently thinking about it, particularly this urban culture where we are. People really don't have the maryada of bhasha in terms of how to speak and what to speak. We speak so casually, we behave so casually that manifests from a deep rooted. Now, whatever is going within the heart could be whatever is the situation. We need to fix it. It's going to take time. But then we can cover the situation by proper etiquette. Even our mind may say, okay, no, this is what it is. But still we can speak in certain ways so that, we don't unnecessarily create a trouble. So there are four things here. Write down first, pride in material education. This is so dangerous. Particularly with the city dwellers or devotees among the cities, they have this major challenge. A lady can have pride, I have a PhD. Man can have a pride, I have a BTech or I'm a manager and whatnot. Pride in education, pride in a position like that. Other is, okay, let's give it four and then I'll explain. Pride in education, pride in wealth, pride in aristocracy, Janma, family background, and pride in fruitive activities, which means your position or achievement. In other words, we are already intoxicated by these four defects. And what is the consequence? People affected. Okay, let's figure it out. How can you say somebody is affected by these 4 defects? How can we understand somebody is affected by it, inflicted by it? And Shastra says what to do to overcome this. It does not resonate in the mind of these people. So how do we know somebody is afflicted by these?
Arrogant behavior.
Huh?
Arrogant behavior.
Well, we don't want to judge somebody from their behavior because that could be, situational. So because somebody once behaved arrogantly does not mean the person is like that. It could be situational. Mother Sita behaved like this, Lakshman, that was situational. So, okay. But if it's a repeated conduct, then say repeated, then it makes sense. By just saying arrogant behavior, we are setting a wrong example. That's not the way. Repeated, okay. What else?
Person is bluffing.
Person is bluffing. Fool is the best person to bluff. Why there has to be pride in something to bluff? One who does not have anything can also bluff. Yes or no? Bluffing में झूठ बोलने में क्या आता है? What else? Yes?
More emphasis to these things apart from souls.
Giving more emphasis. Oh, that is just a matter of attachment, not pride. Okay, what else?
Prabhuji, lack of recognition. Sorry.
Sorry, lack of?
Lack of recognition that Lord Krishna is the cause of what we've been doing. We are not
How
the
do you
doers.
recognize Lord? I mean, how do you recognize Lord? You can't quantify that. What else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how about jealous? Sorry. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Can we turn jealous as a sub thing, Prabhu? Because I can't.
Can I request those who are speaking online if they can say their name because I can't see you, so I don't know who's speaking. Who's speaking?
Radhika Dasi here, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, mother.
So can we say jealous? Like I can't tolerate you having something better than me.
Well, that
Because
is
I
with
know my
everyone. We are in
Sorry.
material world. You are a beggar on the street. That beggar on the street would also be jealous of the other beggar. उसको एक अटैम्प्ट ज़्यादा मिल गई. So again, fine. But what specifically did this thing? What else, Madandra?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. I was just, they will not leave any opportunity to flaunt or tell about their education or qualification or flaunt about their
Okay, she's saying they'll be bombastic. हमेशा अपना गुणगान करेंगे. Yeah, that even a fool can do who does not have anything. So what else? What else? There is one thing particular. Okay, what else? Anyone online? Okay. Yes,
It
Gopal.
comes up in the speech most of the time. I mean, during conversations, it might be evident.
Okay, okay, all right. Let's take one last input.
When they have pride, so they will, because if they have pride, they are in the position that they are the center, so they will not accept the Lord as a supreme and.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your inputs. The first thing is one or two things about it. लिखो, सोचो मत, लिख लो पहले तुम, फिर speculation करोगे बैठ के. And then we can agree, disagree on it. First thing is, such a person cannot accept guidance or feedback. Will not even sought for it. Because he or she thinks, I already know everything. But when they make a mistake, they will immediately pin it to others. क्योंकि वो तो कभी गलती कर ही नहीं सकते. अरे मैं इतना पढ़ा लिखा हूं, मैं ऐसा हूं, मैं वैसा हूं, मुझसे तो गलती हो ही नहीं सकती. तो गलती हुई तो किससे हुई है? आपने या तो गलत बताया, गलती किसी और से हुई है. Do you see this thing? These things will go parallelly. How many it makes sense now? Now somebody who has come from a simple background, who recognizes a situation, he would always ask, Prabhu, can you tell me how to do it? I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you don't know cooking and you have to go in the kitchen to cook. You know that you don't know cooking. Would you go and ask, how can I cook? Yes or no? That humility naturally comes where you know you don't know anything. But when you walk into the arena thinking that I know, then you will just not accept any guidance, any feedback. If anyone wants to tell you also something, पता है ना, मैं कर लूंगा ना, मैं कर लूंगी ना, बस हो गया. And when they mess it up, who's responsible? Now, how can their pride allow them to accept it can be my mistake? That is where this capital letter you can write on big, BRIDE. This is there. Therefore, I was speaking about Maryada, Vani ki Maryada. Even if your mind is agitated, something have happened, at least Vani ki Maryada honi chahiye. We should know what to speak to whom or not. Not that we can just blabber anything. There is a certain behavior between a junior and a senior. There is a certain behavior how a lady speaks to a man. There's a certain behavior how a grahastha speaks to brahmachari, or brahmachari speaks to grahastha, depending on different relationship. Don't put everything. We are coming with so much from a Western mindset. Everyone is equal. जैसे वेस्ट में होता है ना, कोई बड़ा छोटा कुछ होता ही नहीं है. Everyone is same. They behave like that. It doesn't work like this. So that's right. Any doubts on this? Is it making sense? Immediately you can pinpoint where does the stemming is. So much bright. I know. So I don't need advice. I don't need guidance. First thing. And when mistakes happen, it's your mistake. You didn't tell me properly. And then you have to struggle. So these are the 4 disqualifiers. Pride in material education. Now, we are not talking about what is the root of pride. I'm not getting in that much discussion. I'm just kind of highlighting to you what is the problem. But there could be pride because of any 4 things. Pride in material education, pride in wealth, pride in aristocracy, pride in achievement. Let's say one does not have good education, not even wealth, not aristocracy, but achievement. Now, it doesn't take a fool any achievement to be proud of. He can be proud even of his penny. Just a saying goes in English, a beggar is proud of his penny. So this is a defect that we all carry. Therefore, there is a culture of how to conduct and behave ourselves. So don't think, Prabhuji, मैं तो इतना सरल हूँ, ना अच्छी एजुकेशन है, बस बीटेक हूँ, 3rd डिग्री के कॉलेज से, तो कितना अच्छा है मेरे साथ. प्रभुजी मेरी सैलरी भी ज्यादा नहीं है, बस 50,000. क्या सैलरी है प्रभुजी? अचीवमेंट भी ज्यादा नहीं, मैं बहुत विनर्म हूँ. तो उसका भी तेरे को प्राइड हो सकता है. This is very interesting. I love the psychology which comes in Bhagavatam. You start analyzing and see. So, anyways, is that okay? These are the 4 things. And who is a classic example of pride in Bhagavatam? Therefore, I keep on emphasizing, please hear it and please memorize it. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to discuss this in Vrinda. I was thinking today morning only. I'm going to discuss 3 personalities from Ramayana tomorrow. Anyways, who is an example of pride in Bhagavatam? Yes. Durvasa Muni. Do you want to be like Durvasa? Think about it. What's the problem with Durvasa Muni? You can say Daksha also for that reason. His envy was because of pride, na? अरे मैं प्रजापति हूँ, कौन है शिव? देखो इसके कपड़े, मैं कितना खूबसूरत और सुंदर हूँ, ये क्या है, ये जंगली जानवर लग रहा है. So that came from that. And we know that what happened to Durvasa Muni and Ambrish Maharaj like that. सुदर्शन चक्र किसके पीछे भागा था? Durvasa Muni के पीछे. तो जब भी ये प्राइड जैसी चीज मन में आए ना, तो प्रभु के सुदर्शन को याद कर लेने से मन शांत हो जाएगा. थोड़ा, you know, we have to deal with our mind what to do. This is crazy thing. Okay. So, few important points here. Material possessions do not impress Krishna. Janma Aishwarya Shuta Shive Damanada Puman Naivati Vidhatu Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharan. Mother Kunti says, Prabhu, aap usi ke ho, you belong to that person who have nothing. It doesn't mean you have to become a pauper. Doesn't mean you have to become a beggar. Which means you may have everything, but you don't claim it to be yours. In my care. There's a huge difference in saying in my care and this is mine. One who have developed this level of consciousness, this much purification to say this is under my care, then you can have everything under your care and you'll not be attached. Because something is under your care means it is not yours. Offerings, we render service, we work so hard, but one this pride, one moment of that exposure with pride can destroy all our offering. So that's the point here. Okay, so text number 21, text number 22. Another very beautiful verse. Nārada is building up the subject like anything. I hope you all remember how Nārada is building up so far. So first point was Nārada established Lord's supremacy. And to establish supremacy, he clarified further doubts, certain doubts about Lord. Achintya Bheda Tattva, we are one way different. Lord is beyond the modes of material nature. He clarifies. Now, yes, Lord is localized in Golok Vrindavan, but yet he's still the owner of everything. An example of royalty, Buckingham Palace. These three things are clear about the Lord. After that, if Lord is the Supreme Personality Godhead, what next to be done? As Krishna himself says, perform bhakti. So the goal of bhakti is samshiddhi haritoshnam. So what pleases the Lord? Then there were three things that pleases the Lord. Compassion, contentment, yena tena prakarena, in whatever situation, be content. And third, mind and sense control. I'm particularly making the mind because six senses, when it is said, it means mind also, as according to Bhagavad Gita. So do these three things. And then Prabhupada gives the method and purport how we can do these three things. Okay, if this is all done, then what? Which means this is to offer favorable service. One who renders favorable service to the Lord becomes dependent on him. After Lord becoming dependent on him, what is there that disappoints the Lord? There are four things that disappoints the Lord. Pride in wealth, pride in education, pride in aristocracy, pride in one's achievement. I hope you're able to memorize this simple thing. Now, text number 22. Here, very interesting verse again. This is a verse about Lord's affection for devotees. Please read the translation. Here Nārada says, although Lakshmi is so dear to the Lord, the Lakshmi resides on the chest of the Lord. She is always by the feet of the Lord, massaging the feet of the Lord. Yet Lord loves his devotees even more than Lakshmi. Please read the translation.
Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient, he becomes dependent on his devotees. He does not care for the goddess of fortune nor for the kings and demigods who are after the favors of the goddess of fortune. Where is that person who is actually grateful and will not worship the personality of Godhead?
Prabhupada is writing a beautiful point. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is worshipped by all materialistic men, including big kings, devtas. Lakshmi, however, is always after the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though he does not require her service. So then Prabhupada is raising a question, the purport. Where is that person who is actually grateful and will not worship the personality of Godhead? Was so kind, like that. Okay, so a few key points from the purport. Everyone is searching after Lakshmi, but Lakshmi is searching after Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying, go to the source, not the servant. Third point, Lord-devotee relationship is transcendental, not material. And gratitude to Krishna is the natural response of an intelligent person. I was speaking to somebody recently about it. I mean, we were having a conversation, so I spoke about gratitude at that point in time. Just a few reflections for all of you. Precisely, I'll tell you what I was telling that family. So this was one-to-one interaction with this family. They're son and son-in-law of a very big businessman based out of Pune. So they're taking up Krishna consciousness nicely. So I was speaking to them. I said, see, in our relationship, you can write on one big letter that, the objective of our relationship should be clear. I said, what our interaction, what, me spending time with you, or what you can learn from me, or what Bhagavad Gita can teach you. Write on one letter and always make sure this is what gets highlighted in our conversation. So he said, yes, Prabhuji, what is that letter? I said, gratitude. Love is a consequence of gratitude. If there is no gratitude, there is no question of love. Seva is a consequence of gratitude. There's a very famous lecture by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj in Bilda's house. Gratitude something. And Prabhu Maharaj's first line begins with, just saying I'm grateful has no meaning. Gratitude in action means rendering service. If you're grateful for somebody, you will naturally want to serve. And it's just so obvious thing about it. So I was giving an example to him. His father was traveling to America. So I was telling him, I said, see, your father is traveling in a business class. And it just so happened you don't get a seat in business class because there's no seat available. And your father needs the help because he cannot travel alone because of the health concern. I'm just quoting the example in this context to all of you. So I said our heart is full of gratitude, then we are willing to undergo temporary inconvenience. You're not going to be in flight for always. You're going to be in flight for 24 hours. So that person is willing to undergo inconvenience. Why? Because the heart is full of gratitude. Yes or no? Now there are two situations where the person is willing to undergo inconvenience. One, somebody who has this natural gratitude. Because उन्होंने मेरे जीवन में इतना कुछ करा है, ये सब करा है, etc. Second person who is willing to undergo inconvenience.
Relationship.
Second
Like
person
Madan.
who's willing to undergo inconvenience is an employee. Because he expects the salary. So while you're doing devotional service, we should have a clarity. Am I an employee? Or do I want to have a relationship of an employer and employee? Or do I want to have a relationship where I'm a part of the family? If it is a part of the family, don't expect return. Just having the opportunity of association itself is our achievement. Yes or no? Now, to say the employee will get a salary, but the son who will go out of gratitude, he is not getting anything. And this is one of the points I'll touch upon here tomorrow also. Lakshman going to the forest is not that because he was expecting something in return. अरे मैं प्रभु राम के संग वन में चला जाता हूँ 14 साल के वनवास के बाद ना बाकी तीनों भाइयों में मुझे ही चीफ मिनिस्टर बनाएंगे इसलिए जाता हूँ. Yes or no? Then this is an employer-employee relationship. So when we are rendering devotional service, I don't know why we forget about objective क्या है आपकी सेवा करने का, करना क्या चाहते हैं. No, that should be very clear. And if it is clear, our relationship would be harmonious. Inconveniences in the services would not agitate us. Now, if, for example, let's say an employee is there, and let's say it was a little bumpy ride, or maybe let's say in the flight, 24 hours flight, meal got over or something. He didn't get, what his quota was. How many agree he'll be very disturbed? He'll be expecting मुझे extra remuneration मिलना चाहिए मालिक से क्योंकि मैंने उनके कारण मैंने extra austerity करी. Yes or no? We are so much conditioned with this give and take relationship. So you ask yourself, are you serving or are you doing as an employee? If you were gonna act as an employee, then that is what you're gonna get back into your life. What we do, we get back. This is how the life works. We can't cheat the system. So this is about Lord's affection. Gratitude to Krishna is the natural response of an intelligent. And those who are proud, they cannot be grateful. Can a proud person be ever grateful? Because these are interconnected. Now, prior to that, the 4 disqualifications were pride. Can a proud person be grateful? A proud person can never be grateful. Why? I deserved it. I deserved it. I was qualified for it. तुमने क्या किया है? Yes or no? But somebody who is humble, he would always say, "Aapki kripa ke karan." It's all because of you. Just by their wani, their speech or conduct, you can understand where a person is situated like that. So that's how it is. So therefore it is said, don't open your mouth too much in front of seniors. Unless you will expose yourself. Be maturely exposed. You have to be careful. At a Karishna stage, better maintain a distance. Do services. जितना बोला गया उतना करो. जितनी आवश्यकता हो मिलो. नहीं तो नहीं maintain distance. We make unnecessary fool of ourselves. Okay, so text number 22. This whole concept is clear. Text number 22 done. Text number 23. Let's read the translation now. Okay, now this instruction is over. Text number 23. Maitreya speaks. Please read.
The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear King Vidura, Sri Nārada Muni, the son.
Emphasis on the great. Thank you for reminding that. Okay.
Sri Nārada Muni.
That is needed sometimes to emphasize. We may forget who Maitreya was. Not only a sage, but a great sage. Kali Yuga, we forget the greatness of others. Thank you for reminding that. With emphasis on the word great.
The son of Lord Brahma, thus describe all these relationship with that Supreme Personality of Godhead to the Pracetās. Afterward, he
So
returned
now
to
he likewise
Lamlok.
instructing and returned back. Text number 24. Hearing from Narada's mouth the glories of the Lord, which vanquished all the ill fortune of the world, the Prachetas also became attached to the Supreme Personality Godhead. Meditating on his lotus feet, they advanced to the ultimate destination. Text number 25. My dear Vidura, I have told you everything. You wanted to know about the conversation between Narada and the Prachetas. The conversation describing the glories of the Lord. I have related this as far as possible. I could do that. Text number 26. Shishu Kavacha. Ya Yeshautana Manavasyanuvarnitaha Vamsha Priyavrtasyapi Nibudhanarpasattama. So now, Sukdev Goswami. I already told you in previous lecture, there is a multiple level of conversation. So there is a Maitreya Vidu Samvad, there is a Shaunaka Rishi Sutta Goswami Samvad, and the hierarchy above it is Sukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So goes back to Sukdev and Parikshit. Sukdev said, O best of kings, King Parikshit, I have now finished telling about the descendants of the first son of Swayambhuva Manu Utanapad. I shall now try to relate the activities of the descendants of Priyavrat Maharaj, the second son of Swayambhuva Manu. Please hear them attentively. And that forms the foundation of fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is where the fifth canto, the origin is. Text number 27. Although Maharaj received instructions from the great sage Nārada, he still engaged in ruling the earth. After fully enjoying material possessions, he divided his property among his sons. He then attained a position by which he could return home back to Godhead. So what's going to happen in the fifth canto? How did this whole astronomy came into existence was, in the fifth canto, it will be mentioned that how Priyavrat Maharaj divided the whole Bhumandala and gave it to his sons. So what he did, Bhumandala, not Earth, Bhumandala, where this earth is situated, Priyavrat Maharaj went on his chariot. And through this chariot, he divided the lands in a, what you call a circular thing. And that land, the crevices which were created, they got filled with different elements, water, liquor, milk, and whatnot, like this. And for each of those concentric circles became a kingdom in itself, and that's how Priyava's sons became the rulers of those. And when that discussion happened, then Parikshit Maharaj asked, अच्छा सब्जेक्ट है जरा बताइए तो जरा सृष्टि दिखती कैसे है. That's how the fifth canto enters into that. That is what is happening. Okay. Text number 28. My dear king, in this way, after hearing the transcendental messages of the Supreme Personality, God and his devotees from the great sage Maitreya, Vidur was overwhelmed with ecstasy. With tears in his eyes, he immediately fell down at the lotus feet of his guru, his spiritual master. He then fixed the Supreme Personality regarded within the core of his heart. So here, at this point of time, Maitreya Vidura Samvad ends, and Vidurji will return back to the first canto, chapter number 13, if I'm correct, where Vidurji enters Hastinapur. And then he meets Pandavas like that. Okay. Text number 29. Viduravacha Surya Madhya Mahayogin Bhavata Karunatmana Darishtastamashaparu Yatra Kinchana Go Harihi. Shividura said, O great mystic, O greatest of all devotees, by your cosmos mercy, I have been shown the path of liberation from this world of darkness. By following this path, the person liberated from the material can return home back to Godhead. Shri Shukavacha Jnanam Metam Amantrya Gajasa Vayam Swanadidakshu Prayayo Natina Nirvatashaya. Sukdev Goswami said, Vidura thus offered obeisance to the great sage Maitreya, and taking his permission, started for the city of Hastinapur to see his own kinsmen, although he had no material desires. Prabhupada writes in the last few lines of the purport, when a great saintly person like Vidura sees his relatives, he desires only to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Vidura thus offered his respectful obeisance to his spiritual master and departed for the city of Hastinapur, the kingdom of the Kauravas. Brahmacharis do it prematurely. After joining an ashram, when they go back home, उनका भी विजन ऐसी होता है और सोचते हैं हम अपने माँ बाप का कल्याण कर देंगे, पर धैर्य रखो। आपका विजन सही है पर समय सही नहीं है। एंड ब्रह्मचारी goes back and he says, oh, this is karmi, this is sinful. एंड पिताजी बोल रहे हैं, अबे तुम मुझे बता रहा है, तुझे पाला पोसा, तुझे संस्कार दिए, एंड वहां जाके आग लगा रहा है करके। And so this is so often it happens, they are fully ignited, fully charged up, and they're seeing with the vision of पिताजी में ये गलती है, माता में ये गलती है, अनियन खाते हैं, गल नहीं खाते हैं, पापी पाप है, घर में से पाप ही चल रहा है, और वहां जाके वो पाप इतना बड़ा लेक्चर दे देता है ना, और फिर कलेश मचता है। सो धीरे धीरे, डोंट डू इट, डोंट बिकम विदुरा सो क्विकली। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, लेट देम एक्सेप्ट यू एज विदुरा, which means first they should see you as a sadhu, because Vidurji when went, everyone respected Vidurji, even Dhritarashtra. The problem is we become Vidurji, but the audience is not accepting as Vidurji. So when we speak those harsh words, Vidurji also spoke very harshly, but they could hear it because Vidurji was seen as a sadhu. Unless others accept us as a sadhu, and speaking those things is only going to break hearts and only going to create aparadh. We should not even agitate and disturb ordinary living entities also. So take care of that. Don't come and say, Prabhuji, देखो लिखा है यहाँ पे, when great saintly person like Vidura sees his relatives, he desires only to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Yes, you see them. My question is, how are they seeing you? The father is seeing you, अरे आ गया मेरा ये छोड़ा, आज तक कभी जीवन में सुबह 7 बजे से पहले नहीं उठा. Father is seeing you with that vision, and you're going and telling him, Father, how important it is to wake up at 4 o'clock. You are in Maya if you're not waking up at 4 o'clock. And father is thinking, बड़ा शाड़ा हो गया ये. The way you see how much conflict happens, don't do that. Text number 31. Itadya shunayadajam rajnyam hari apitatmanam ayudhanam yasha swasti gatim aishwaryam apnuya. Now, let me tell you why would this young devotee would go and want to teach his parents? The reason is just step by step this happens. It happens with everyone. You can analyze it. Why it happens? He's so much filled with enthusiasm. He wants to share Krishna consciousness with somebody. अभी इसकी सुनेगा कौन? अभी इसकी कौन सुनेगा? घर वाले. तो सारा का सारा भांडा वो घर पे फोड़ के आ जाता है. यस, अब ये बोलेगा क्या? अब ये बोलेगा क्या? अभी नया नया इसके अंदर थोड़ा वैराग्य जागा है. कैसे वैराग्य जागा? अब भौतिक इच्छाओं के बारे में पता चल गया ना, गलत है. कृष्णा प्रेम या कृष्ण के बारे में कोई ज्ञान नहीं है. फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू गेट इज लिटिल नॉलेज ऑफ वैराग्य. सो व्हाट ही गोज एंड डाउनलोड देयर इज वैराग्य. देर पर आग लगती है वो घर पे जाके ना. घर वालों को वैराग्य का ज्ञान देकर आ जाते हैं. तुम इतनी लेट तक क्यों जागते हो? तुम टीवी क्यों देखते हो? बोले अभी क्या कर रहे हैं? आत्म खुला रहा है हमारे जीवन में. धीरे नहीं, तुरंत. एंड व्हेन दे डोंट लिसन, दिस अवर न्यू डिवोटी, हाईली एंथुसियास्टिक डिवोटीज बिकम्स ऑफेंडेड. मेरी जनता सुन क्यों नहीं रही मेरी? आपको सुनना पड़ेगा. आपको कल सुबह तक शुद्ध भक्त बनना ही पड़ेगा. How many of you agree that was going at the back of your mind when you were speaking, and when they're not listening to you, you were getting agitated? कैसे नहीं सुन रहे मेरी? इनको पता नहीं कौन आया है. This is so happy. Therefore we tell, please maintain, as you maintain your girlfriend relationship private, maintain your relationship with Krishna to greater secrecy. Don't disclose. Don't go and declare to the world, I have fallen in love with Krishna. Right now, it's too far off. You just entered the scene. Don't declare it. Otherwise, धुआं निकलने वाला है. So this is how it happens. Okay. Yes, do agree everyone? This is what is going on करके. उसको जनता चाहिए सुनने के लिए कोई, और ज्ञान उसके पास थोड़ा सा वैराग्य का ही है. I remember those days when I was giving lecture. One person came and told me, "Prabhu जी, आप भौतिक दुनिया के बारे में इतना नेगेटिव क्यों बोलते हो?" तो मैं सोचने लगा. मैंने कहा यार, मैंने सीखा ही हुआ है. अभी पॉजिटिव सीखा ही नहीं. आई हैव नॉट लर्न एनीथिंग अबाउट द पॉजिटिव स्पिरिचुअल. मैंने तो वही सीखा. दुनिया बुरी है तो डाउनलोड कर दिया. Like translation. Of course, there has to be both, but it has to be a balance of it. Not that the person anyways have come pitaya from dunya. Then मैं क्लास में उसको इतना पीट दूं ये बता कि दुनिया बुरी है वो बेचारा उसमें सुसाइडल थॉट आ जाएंगे ना मैं जीव तो कहाँ जीव Don't make their life so hopeless, by saying this world is a horrible place, this is bad, that is bad. But you see them offer alternative also. All right, next number 30 translation. Oh, king, those who hear this topic is about kings who are completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality God and obtain without difficulty a long life, wealth, good reputation, good fortune, ultimately the opportunity. Return home back to Godhead. Thus end the Bhaktivinoda, the purpose of the fourth canto, 31st chapter of Srimad Bhagavat entitled Nārada Instructions, the Pracetās, and of the fourth canto. Jagadu, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for your kind attention. Anyone has any comments or any question, we can take it. If not, we are happy to conclude it. Okay, Apurva? Fine. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.